All right, anyway, the first movie I'm going to review is rated R. It's called The Last King of Scotland. The Last King of Scotland was directed by 39-year-old Glasgow native Kevin MacDonald, who has mostly directed European TV. I couldn't find any movies that I knew that people would know. And the film tells the story of young Scottish doctor Nicholas Carrigan, played very cockily by Scotsman James McAvoy, who you're going to be seeing more of. He was just in Becoming Jane, about Jane Austen with Anne Hathaway. And he's got another movie coming out very soon. Forget what it's called. But you're going to be seeing and hearing more about him because he was very, very good. He's a young man who rebels against his father, who's a doctor, and he is also a young doctor. He leaves the family practice to find adventure in Africa. He goes up to his room and says, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of Scotland. Spins the globe, says, the first place I land on, I'm going. Spins the globe, lands on Canada, and says, I'm going to spin again.
Hey. Not seeing that movie.
So pretty soon, he lands his finger on Uganda and finds himself comfortably sitting on a bus, head in the lap of a young, beautiful, English-speaking Ugandan woman. The adventure is off to a wonderful start for this man of privilege and accomplishment. He quickly learns to love the country and its people, and he even gets the shy, quiet wife of the doctor whose clinic he's working at, and she's played by Gillian Anderson from X-Files, who I haven't seen in ages, and I've always loved her, and she's really, really good in this role, very soft-spoken, just captures the role perfectly. They take a little trip to a nearby village where the newly, I guess I'm going to say elected leader, but it was really by coup.
Well, that's how they do it over there.
Yeah, I guess they get elected by coup. Idi Amin, who's played really cuddly cute and just ruthlessly brutal all at the same time by Academy Award winner Forrest Whitaker. He won.
He did a great job.
Oh, you saw this movie?
Eileen thinks that I live in a cocoon.
I
watched that movie.
You saw it because it's been out on DVD for a while, that's right.
I know. Can you get any movies that are current?
And I started to think, when's the last time what was the first movie that I ever saw Forrest Whitaker in? And it was probably Good Morning Vietnam, the movie with Robin Williams as the
I don't remember him being
DJ in Vietnam. And he was just so cute. And he really looks like a big brown teddy bear that you just want to cuddle up to. And he still has much of that quality in this role that he brings to this.
Well, he makes you like him in the beginning. He draws you right in, right?
He absolutely draws you.
Crying Game also.
And the Crying Game, yes.
That as well. Yeah.
He was wonderful. But anyway.
I usually can't make comments like that because I haven't seen that many shows.
So
that was the only one I made.
The young doctor and the other, Gillian Anderson's character, they go and they listen to him speak, and he's very charismatic. He makes the point loud and clear that I am just like one of you. I am one of the masses. He was basically, brought up in a very small tribe and taken in by the colonial British Army, raised to be a leader, and that's what he becomes.
He did, yes.
He sees himself as both a leader and a follower. He really makes a beautiful point of, I am one of you. I am of the land. I am of Africa. However, he has a difficult time making decisions, and when he's slightly injured, he's so impressed with the care given to him roadside by Dr. Garrigan that he offers Garrigan the post of his own private physician. And when he calls, he doesn't even go back to the little local clinic. When he calls the clinic to tell them of his decision, Gillian Anderson, her character, she's like, well, I'm very disappointed. You made a promise to us. You can do more good here in this local village
than in the city with
clinic than in taking care of just one man. And the post quickly morphs into private counsel to the president. He kind of becomes his go-to guy for advice. And it's a post that Garrigan, in all his puffed up arrogance, he's a young boy, I'm going to say maybe mid-20s. He feels qualified to accept it. He takes it. And let me tell you, this is not the film that I was expecting. And again, sometimes when you see previews, they can mislead you. I thought we would see more into the brutal regime of Amin, although we do see bits and pieces of it.
Yeah.
This film is really about a young, naive Scottish boy. It's much more about
very naive. Wow.
Very naive and very arrogant in his naivete. Very educated. As a Scotsman, doesn't like the British any more than Amin. And his people have come to dislike the colonialism that has brought Africa to where it is. But thinks he knows it all, and actually has some great scenes with some British subjects who have been in the country for a long time. We're trying to lead him in the right way, trying to warn him. He knows more than everybody else. So this really isn't what I was
A
expecting.
young whippersnapper.
Yeah, exactly. We witnessed the descent, his descent into lackey to Amin and all the consequences that descent brings to those around him. For probably the first time in his life, he's confronted with the devastating effects that his words and actions can bring about. Forrest Whitaker, who is so soft and appealing to look at times, so frightening and intimidating at others as Amin, has shown that he is worthy again and again of the Academy Award. To watch him turn from loving father figure to Dr. Garrigan to signing his death warrant is a thrill to watch. The film was more action-packed and exciting than I had expected and literally kept me uneasy and anxious throughout, which to me is a true sign of greatness in a film, the ability to elicit such strong emotions from its audience. I felt upset
She's
and
passionate
uneasy.
about her movie reviews.
The whole time I was watching, because when you knew it wasn't going to come to a great end.
Oh, I know.
And you were just so anxious.
I was,
for Amin, and one of his wives is involved in a subplot going on. Let's see,
right to the end.
Right to the end. And
right.
as again, there are brutal scenes of torture, and yet you can't help but feel Amin's true love for his country. It's a true dichotomy. I do believe he loves Africa. He loves his people. He just doesn't have any idea.
How could he not? Look at the place he lived in.
How to go about ruling correctly.
Right.
He's basically a product of his environment.
He's a psycho.
It's rated R for language, sexuality, and brutality. I give it 2 thumbs up.
It was good.
And this really ties in nicely to the next movie that I'm going to review. The sexuality in the movie Last King of Scotland, I found to be, it was beautiful, but it was fairly graphic. And this film was rated R. Now I'm going to talk about a movie called This Film Is Not Yet Rated. And this is a documentary. It's a 2006 documentary directed by 54-year-old Tucson, Arizona native Andy Dick. And it tries to uncover just who the Motion Picture Association of America is comprised of. Now, the MPAA is the board.
Oh, this is an investigation into the Raiders?
Yes, because you and I talk about this often.
That's right.
How does one film get a PG-13 movie and another get an R? Although I can often find what happens in them interchangeable, or one would actually, I think, should have been the R was the PG-13, and the PG-13 should have been. How do they come about making
Is
these
this board
decisions?
located in Providence?
No, it's not.
With the Brotherhood?
It's in LA.
No, it's in LA, it's in the suburbs. I agree with you, I have no idea.
And this was a
You had to be
very-
careful what you say. This will be on the internet, Tom. We don't want to jeopardize your ability to be in any future.
Googleable.
Yeah, me
You'll be
careful. We're on
Googled.
YouTube. Anyway, a little bit of background. The Motion Picture Association of America was created in the form that it is today by a man named Jack Valenti in 1968, but it was basically a long time in the making. Shortly after World War I, efforts were underway to censor and somehow label films generally sold to the public as, we're going to educate, we're just going to educate, it's for the children. So you don't bring your children into something that you feel would be
That might be
inappropriate for
inappropriate,
them. And it took basically 50 years before the MPAA, as it stands today, was created out of this. How this came about is Dick Kirby created this movie. He wanted to find out about the MPAA. He finished it, his documentary, and it's really important, especially in America, not so much in Europe. If you're going to market a film, it really needs an MPAA rating. Very few non-rated films ever get shown in the big cinemas like Showcase and Lowe's. You might be able to go to Kendall Landmark and see a not rated film or an NC-17 film. But if you want to really market your movie and you want eventually the DVDs to be shown in Kmart, to be shown in Walmart, to be sold in those places, you need an MPAA rating. And he submits his film and he gets an NC-17 rating. And the NC
Well, he didn't expect them to rate it, did he?
no, he knew this was coming.
If he did it with his pants on, he probably would have gotten a better rating. That was his problem.
What he does basically in his documentary is he takes other films that have in the past been given NC-17 ratings, and as a result of that, scenes have been cut by the directors. Most of the directors have chosen then, okay, we can't sell the film with an NC-17. Now we're going to have to take up scenes that we don't know exactly why, because the MPAA doesn't give very helpful guidelines. They'll say, this is what it got. Well, they say, well, could you please help me? Could you tell me? And they say, well, there's some crude sexuality, or this is too lewd, or this this scene, but they won't specifically say, this is what you need to cut to bring it from an NC-17 to an R.
It would always be about sex.
That's going to be my next point. We're going to talk about
Isn't everything?
the difference between sex and violence in
Sex
this
and
film.
money, right?
But if you're not aware, the NC-17 basically is the rating that has taken the place of X. There's no more X. I don't think there's X rating except for pornography, and that's a whole other ballgame. Maybe we'll talk about that some other time. But NC-17 is...
Well, that will be an interesting show, folks.
my top 10, no.
The cameraman's killing himself.
NC-17 basically says no one under 17. An R-rated movie, you can bring a 17-year-old so long as they're accompanied by an adult. And NC-17 means if you are not 18, showing a legal, a valid ID, you can't get into this movie no matter what. No matter who's with you, you cannot get in. And it's usually for sexuality. What I liked is...
Eileen, see the cameraman?
Yeah. Oh, gosh, we don't have much time. Let me just tell you about...
Maybe we could ask Comcast to give us an extension of a 2-hour show.
The director hires an LA investigator. They find out who these people are. They market themselves as, we are here because we are members of the community. We have young children, and we just want to put a label on this to help people with young children. The detective found out that that's not the case at all. It's a lot of people that know other people, and I get the job, and I get my friend a job, and now my kids are in their 30s, and maybe when I started they were 8 and 10, but now I've been doing it for 25 years. And the film does a great job of exposing the inadequate way in which films are rated. By talking with 2 former members, we discovered there's no uniform set of guidelines to assist in making ratings. Each rater uses his own set of intrinsic guidelines, and that's just not right. The director uses some incredible films and their directors to make his point. Boys Don't Cry, Coming Home, Mysterious Skin are some of the films mentioned. And John Waters, who we talked about a little bit last time, Hairspray, is absolutely hysterical. Rent the movie just for his little bits and pieces, talking about his movies. He's got an NC-17 and he couldn't get marketed. And it's really frustrating to me that so many great films have either been slashed to make them more palatable to this very elite group, or have just not been widely released due to their foregoing the MPAA ratings altogether. No one should have such power over an artist, and I would like to see something more akin to what TV does now. Not rating, but just suggestions. This is, a TV 14, and this is exactly why it has this, it has bad language, it has sexuality, it has this. If you want your kids, if you don't mind them seeing it, that's okay. And probably the point that came clear to me was you can pretty much do any kind of violent act to anybody and garner an R rating. Which is the more disgusting to you, Brian? To see a woman have her breast slashed off with a machete, or to see her have her breast kissed by a lover? That's an NC-17.
Well, I'm going to have to think about that for a minute.
Slash her breast off, it's rated R. I just found that to be so repulsive. And now, of course, there is some sexuality that, no, I don't want, nobody, you don't want to bring your kids in to see something. But then there's sexuality that is a really big, important part of the movie. And just really quickly, because I'm not going to get to talk about...
Well, you're going to go to a different movie?
I have just one more real quick.
You don't want to do it next time?
No,
You
because
sure?
it goes along with all of this. Coming Home is a movie that I had never seen before. It's from 1978, directed by Hal Ashby, one of my favorite directors of all time. Do we really have like 2 minutes? Oh, we have
What?
2? All right.
We got to make sure our movie
Coming Home
cameraman
is
gets on TV
beautiful,
too.
beautiful story. It stars John Voight as a paraplegic Vietnam vet coming home. He strikes up a reacquaintance with Jane Fonda, who's playing the married woman of an Vietnam captain. Her husband goes to Vietnam. She meets up again with John Voight, and they develop the most loving relationship. And because he's paraplegic, the one scene in which he is making love to her, and basically the only way that he can, was cut. And I thought, you know what? This is an integral part of the scene, of the movie. It has to be shown. It has to be shown this way. It doesn't have to be graphic, and it wasn't. You can rent the movie now and you can see it. I mean, they have such an incredible relationship. He's in a wheelchair. She sits on his lap. They're down at the beach. He's got his loving arms around her. He's a whole man, and I loved the fact that he could be a whole man to her, both out of the bedroom and in the bedroom, even though he's paraplegic, was absolutely crucial to this film. And to take scenes like this and say, no, that's repulsive to me, I'm worried about the children, it's just an injustice. So, definitely you want to rent Last King of Scotland, great film. You want to rent. This film is not yet rated, just to see the hypocrisy of the MPAA, and hopefully you will never hold an NC-17 rating against a film again. And definitely rent Coming Home, 1978. John Voight, Jane Fonda, who won the Academy Award for Best Actress in that role. Incredibly beautiful.
So,
beautiful. Oh, and I do have one movie for the family.
No, forget that.
Unaccompanied Minors. Adorable. It stars the kid from Everybody Hates Chris, Tyler James Williams. It's about a bunch of kids that get stuck in an airport on Christmas Eve. They get snowed in this great adventure that they have. Really cute, really funny movie. What's his name? Louis Black. Do you ever see Back in Black from The Daily Show with Jon Stewart?
My favorite.
He's a really funny, acerbic comedian. He's in it.
I missed that one.
Wilmer Valderrama from that 70s show plays Oliver, a guy who's trying to corral these kids. Really cute movie, Unaccompanied Minors, rated PG. And just to lead in, Monday nights at 8 o'clock, the CW has Everybody Hates Chris. It's a great show if you haven't seen it. And there's another really good show coming on. It's a great show, and not that many people are watching it. Please watch it. 8 o'clock Monday nights, Everybody Hates Chris. And right after that, there's a new show coming on that sounds really interesting, Aliens in America. So there, we've branched off a little TV, a little movie.
You just get 2 movies in that.
What?
You're so fast.
I forgot about this one. Yeah. Is that it? We
No,
done?
wait. No, let me ask you a question. No, relax. Slow down.
Well,
The viewers always see it. It's like fast forward. It's like a 78 when we get to the end of the show.
Well, I have a lot to say.
Okay, no. After watching the movie about the rating and everything, is it about the money or is it just about stupidity?
It's all about the money.
So are they receiving some form of kickbacks from different studios and directors and stuff?
No, that I'm not sure about.
Okay.
But who's to put it past?
I mean, obviously, there's money involved.
I think that these are. I would like to see the board be. If there's
I don't expect you to comment on that, Tom. I don't want to put you in a situation.
But it costs the filmmakers money.
It costs them tons of money.
Because there are only certain kinds of movies that we are allowed to see. Because when you go to our multiplexes, there are 12 cinemas, and you go a couple miles down the road to the next 12 plex, it's the same 12 movies.
The same.
Right.
It's the same 12 movies because it's the distributors of movies in this country that have all the power, and they are guided by this. So if you have an NC-17 rating and these main chains aren't going to pick it up, you're not going to make money. So you slash your vision really about what this movie should be about.
Is the internet going to change that? As we have more and more people with high-speed ability to watch movies on their computers, they're going to be able to. I mean, people are getting used to the YouTubes of the world and things like that.
Yeah, and I think that things like Netflix and other ways of getting your movies has changed it. I know certainly for the union, there's a big issue that movies used to garner 80% of their income from their theatrical run and 20% later. Now it's pretty much flipped. It's only about 20% of their income comes from showing the movies, and 80% of the income comes later.
Wow.
So sometimes they will do a cut just to appease these idiots, to do an R-rated and then immediately release it as a director's cut.
Oh, I see. So a director's cut, we don't have the impact of the rating.
Right.
Gotcha. See, folks, did you learn something here? The director's cut. Well,
Only watch the director's
now,
cut.
Tom, I hope you give Eileen your autograph. Tom probably wants your autograph too after sitting here with you.
Sure.
I just want a good review.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. Maybe I'll drag you to it. We'll have to see it together.
That's right. We're gonna be talking about that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh man.
Does that have anything else? Oh, do we have time? I mean, I don't know. 2 minutes? 3 minutes?
It's we better.
All right. Well, just new on DVD is a movie that I really like. Surf's Up. Really cute, really funny. So there's 2 movies for the family. Surf's Up on DVD, about the little surfing penguin that I reviewed a while ago. Really cute.
I'm tired
really
of these penguin
Shia
movies.
LaBeouf, Jeff Bridges, and Unaccompanied Minors. So there are 2 good
Ratatouille,
films.
that was my favorite.
Ratatouille.
That was my favorite movie of the year. I mean,
Wow, was it really?
yeah.
Oh wow.
I'll see that next
There you
time.
go.
I'll see that for next.
Eileen wants to create her own movie. She's writing. What did you tell me? You're writing. She's writing one. Yeah.
The
So
one that
ma-
takes place on the Red Line. So.
Maybe you can give. Maybe we can get a discount on the rate, or is that breaking the union rules? You know, if you're on it, you're in it.
Oh, we got all sorts of rules.
Well,
You know
Tom,
what's happened.
it was a pleasure having you on the show today. Eileen obviously is.
Oh my gosh, this is a thrill.
Eileen, welcome back on the show.
Brian, nice to see you again.
So it's been fun. It's been a great time, and we'll look forward to seeing you in Gone Baby Gone and
Brotherhood.
Brotherhood next Sunday. Well, some of you, what's next Sunday? This is the what's the date next Sunday? Today is the. Well, now I don't like to say what because this is gonna broadcast throughout the month. Do they play those over at all the Showtime
Yeah,
ones?
I think they do.
So the second episode of this season's Brotherhood on Showtime. Tom will be on that, so you'll be able to check him out. Hey, someone's at the door in the studio, so folks, we gotta go. Say goodnight.
Good night.
Goodbye. Thank you for watching Talk of the Town. See you next